Yeah, it's nearly 6:30, and it's going to be a catastrophic fire day tomorrow. The first for the season, actually, I believe. And they're going to say it's going to be as bad as the Pinery fire about 2 years and 2 months ago. It was in November of 2015, November 2015 to November 2016 to November 2017, and now we're at the end of the first week of January. So we're basically 6 weeks away from the because it's basically 4 weeks. Well, it's actually 4.5 weeks, isn't it, to a month, a standard 32-day month. So we're about I would say 7 weeks from the third week of February. And when I say the third week of February, I mean like 3 7s are 21, so it's from the 21st onwards. And when I say for Drossel Whitty-Quay, it's by the second week, it's 2 7s are 14, so it's around the middle of the month. That's when Drossel Whitty-Quay is at its peak, whereas Drossel Playfair is from the third week of May onwards, so that's from the 21st onwards. It's at its peak, and it's at its peak for about 3 weeks. Same with Whitty-Quay. Around about 3 weeks they're at their peak, sort of thing. Anyway, so as you can see, the sunlight there, it's so intense out there now, not even before 6:30, that I can't go out there to water my plants. It's just too intense, too hot, there's too much stingage in the air, sort of thing. So I'm just going to talk here because that's all I can do. I can't go out there yet. I'll be watering at 7:30 tonight, I've got to wait another hour before I can actually water out there. It's just too intense out there. And this is the day before. What's going to happen tomorrow? The first catastrophic fire danger day tomorrow. So, if we get some embers and gets down into the creek down there for some other fire, we'll be toast, I reckon. And they reckon they're going to have seven more planes out tomorrow. Some are coming from interstate. We should actually have some more sky cranes, of course, because I think we should run the argument that Google and ExxonMobil should pay some tax. They haven't paid any tax for the last 3 years. And if they paid their tax, we could actually buy some of those cranes probably outright, sort of thing. So, I mean, it would be a different story if the price of petrol down at the pump was like 50 cents a litre or something. It was fair enough, you don't have to pay any tax because the petrol's so cheap. But they haven't paid any tax for the last 3 years, and the petrol price is, way over $1 sort of thing, and have been. And they gouge all the time. The price goes up and down, up and down. You never know what it's going to be, sort of thing. I think that's the way they like it. They always got you on the run. They've smoked you out of your hole and got you on the run. We should actually smoke them out of theirs and say, well, either pay tax or you fuck off out of our country. See, I'm sure Trump would be on our side. He said, well, yeah, I'm a businessman. That sounds pretty logical to me. You pay your tax or you fuck off out of their country. Okay. Anyway, so basically I'm setting some of these up in an attempt to eventually go for the big one, where I go to the full 1-to-1 egg and universal surfactant sort of thing. But I'm doing some test runs with these ones first. These big sand-cocked ones. So we'll see how we go. Oh, by the way, I'm 6 right and in the colour grid, and 5 down in darkness, even though it's 6:30 at night, because look at the sun out there. I'm just testing it out, fellas. So there's the label. You can see the colours on the label there. It's a good check. Now, there's a little bit of smokiness on that label there. That might be an indicator of where we're heading, fellas. That one hasn't got any smokiness on the label. So this one's got the micronutrients in it. This one hasn't. So if that one goes poorly, and there's a pH difference of a factor of 1 pH, 2 pH units. So that's when I first set it up, that was 2 pH units lower than this one. And we'll have to see whether the actual pH it stays the same. If it does, then we've got ourselves a buffer situation happening, which is very interesting. Buffering when you can actually maintain the pH level that you originally have, and it's just maintained. You've got yourself a buffer, a type of buffer anyway. It might be a new variation on the concept of the buffer, like a Thor buffer system. When you've got 2 buffer systems going on at different ends of the pH spectrum, so you've got the 2 endpoints of your pH spectrum being buffered. So you've got very acidic situation occurring at the same time, you've got very alkaline situations occurring in the same potting mix. So you can have two suites or forms of organisms growing in your pot. Therefore, you can have probably new forms of symbiotic relationship between acid-loving organisms and alkaline-loving organisms. And by varying those endpoints, you can set accordingly, optimise for the organisms from each suite or group of organisms. That's the idea anyway. So the idea behind the idea of the Thor buffer system. Anyway, now we did sort these out last week. Some things to note: these are becoming paler, sort of thing, in colour, sort of thing. So I don't know, we were washing out the iron as iron chloride. What I have noticed, though, things like we've been having trouble with the Sarracenia afterwards. So the more we flash, the worse it gets. Whether that's because we've actually made the soil wetter to the plants, it seems wetter than it actually is. So we've really sort of made it very boggy, very anaerobic, and they can't handle it. I don't know. It's sand. It's a sand culture, don't forget. Anyway, and here now it takes 90 clicks to actually fill it up now. So I've gone from 60. You remember, went from about 120 all the way down to around 50, 60 sort of thing. Now it's gone back up to 90 after I've sorted it. So that means we've opened up the pore space, the interstices. But after we've added the salt, we've cleared out stuff. Is that what's happened? And therefore it takes more water to fill it up? Don't know. This one, getting worse over time. Again, it's getting worse over time. Whereas the CP-related weeds seem to be looking better over time. So they were the ones that really, knocked back when we first put the salt through, whereas the CP seems to handle the salt quite well initially. These came back and they're starting to look really nice now. Whereas the CP, the more you water, it seems the worse they get, to a certain extent. Yeah, so we've got this one here. We notice the colour is paler now in the green, not so dark in the green, this sort of thing. So might be something to put in your back pocket. This one, yeah, and this one was the ones that seem to have the CP tannins were coming out of it. Seems to be the worst one so far now. So yeah, look at that. Maybe there's a connection. Struggling, but still alive. Yeah. Now the copper one here, yes, struggling, but still alive. And this one's starting to actually kick off, I think. So this one I didn't sort, but this is the one with the surfactant and the 4 eggs. And considering this, I'm just doing some pre-runs over here, and just to get some extra data in, and then I'll go for the full run. I'll go to the equal 1-to-1. Egg and surfactant sort of thing, and I'll film that and make it up. And I can see there's a difference in colour at the moment between that one and this one. So I'll put some plants in tonight, but it's going to be a scorcher tomorrow. Whether they'll survive or not, I don't know. It'll be very interesting if they do. Anyway, with 48 seconds on the card, I might be able to get something out here. Oh, yeah, it's cooling off a little bit. Either that or I'm just sweating so much I'm feeling cool. Okay, back to normal. I might make a short clip here. Okay, starting to get red on the red tube there, sort of thing. Oh, that one's actually going to die off, I think. We got a new one coming though. Yeah, probably best to make another clip, I think. So I'll start another clip from here. But look at that intense sunlight, even this late in the evening, and it's going to be an absolute scorcher tomorrow. So, oh yeah, I'm going to have to water these one again. Almost drying out. Can you imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow? Oh yeah.